The New York Knicks go into Philadelphia and beat the Philadelphia 76ers by the score of 110 to 96. And Chris and I are here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris. Chris, getting right into tonight's game. I want to ask you, who do you think the MVP of the game was? And my answer, it might surprise you because Jalen Brunson, even though he was the leading scorer with 21 points, he didn't really have a good game. On one aspect, it was because of the defense. The defense was like all over him to the point that they were basically just fouling him. But on the other aspect, on the other end, he just didn't have a good game. He didn't really have a good shooting night, and that was on him. But my MVP of the game, I'm actually gonna give it to Precious Achiuwa, yo.
I mean, honestly, that's fair. I was between saying Bogdanovich and Achiuwa, and obviously, literally a second before we started recording this, as people are about to find out, I did say word for word, wow, I knew watching Jalen Brunson, like, he wasn't having a great game, but damn,
Yeah,
I'd kind of want to take that back in a way because look, he was getting doubled the entire game.
yeah.
Did he play as good as Jalen Brunson usually plays? No, but at the end of the day, 21 points. He scored more points than shots he took. And I think that is a pretty good metric that like protects you from saying, "Oh, that was a really bad game." If you're shooting more than you're making shots, like a typical Jordan Poole Wizards game or something, that's like, "Oh, that's a bad game." 5 for 18 is bad. 0 for 4 from 3 is really bad.
Yeah.
21 and 12 with a plus 20, plus minus the highest on the New York Knicks. He didn't play badly. He also had 7 turnovers, so he didn't play great.
He was 11-11 from the line, too. That's where he got a majority of his points.
Yeah, like he had a fine game. It was just a bad shooting night. On the other hand, Precious Achiuwa had a great shooting night, so that was funny to see. I think that's a fair guy to say, like, was the MVP of the game because, yeah, Bogdanovich played outstandingly, and I want to talk about that for sure. But Achiuwa in 38 minutes, putting up 18 points, getting 11 rebounds, he really had a defensive presence tonight. He was playing in bench units where it felt like they weren't fully playing through him, but they also were to a degree. Like that Burks, Bogdanovich, Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, and McBride lineup, Achiuwa was getting a lot of touches and he looked good.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the reasons why I chose Precious as my MVP of the game is because just his impact on the game. It looks like he's getting more comfortable with the offense. He's like actually catching these passes. He's finishing at the rim. He's being way more aggressive. Now, on one hand, it's because he's not really looking over his shoulder regarding minutes. That can be an argument that could be had. But on the other hand, like he's taking advantage of the minutes that he's given. And I remember giving him a lot of critique towards when he just got traded to the Knicks. It looked like he was just playing to not make any mistakes. But right now, man, I was thoroughly surprised. I was thoroughly impressed by the way he played. I just felt like he had his hands in everything. If it was a deflection, if it was a rebound, if it was an offensive rebound, or if it was setting a good pick and rolling down the lane. Like Precious Achua's imprint was all over this game. But speaking of your boy Bogey, the reason why I didn't give it to Bogey was because I just felt like he had like a really hot like 5 minutes where he was just draining threes. And then after that, it's not that he disappeared, but then I didn't really feel his impact on the game. Whereas Precious, I felt it throughout the whole game, which is the only reason why I gave it to Precious over Bogey.
Yeah, and I think something with that is when we look at a fully healthy Knicks roster, that's what we want out of Bogey as it is. We want a guy who can come in and hit 4 threes in a row the way that Bogdanovich did. That's really what we're asking of him when this roster is fully healthy. Like 24 minutes off the bench, that's not going to be the case when Julius Randle's back, when OG Anunoby's back, potentially when Mitch is back. Like if Mitch gets back, which it seems like he will for playoffs, we're not going to see Bogdanovich play a huge amount of minutes. He's basically going to be there, and they're going to look at him and say, "All right, look, you're a good scorer. You can create your own shot." He's probably going to be subbing in for Randall a good amount
Yeah.
because Bogey can work and create his own shot, which is kind of rare with the Knicks, at least this roster. So they'll definitely use Bogey for that a lot. But his role is mainly going to be, hey, we need you to spot up and hit your threes like there's no
100%.
tomorrow, like he did tonight. And that's the same thing with Alec Burks to a large degree.
Yo, what happened to Hartenstein? Like, I don't know if he played in the second half. I missed the first 2 to 3 minutes to start the second half, but I saw the rest of the game and I didn't see him play. Did you hear Wally or Mike Breen talk about that at all or anything?
I'll be honest, I don't really remember them talking about it. And according to Twitter, before the game, Hartenstein and Tibbs both kind of alluded to Hartenstein having a minutes restriction. Hartenstein himself said, I'm not going 40 tonight. So clearly there was some kind of minutes restriction. Maybe it wasn't something that was set, but more like Tibbs saying to him, look, you're not going to play a ton tonight. We're taking this slowly. It is an Achilles injury. You're a large, large, large human being and we desperately need you healthy in the future. So we're not going to overplay you against the team with a lack of big men without Embiid.
I'm surprised because I feel like Coach Tibbs would usually be like, "No, you're getting your ass out there."
Like, oh, you're healthy enough? All right, 44 minutes tonight, Isaiah. Let's go.
Right. Yes, I wanted to bring up another point. So the Knicks throughout most of the game, they were up big. They went up as high as 20 points, maybe even higher than that. And then the closest that the 76ers got was, I believe, 6 points. When the 76ers got to 6 points, Coach Tibbs, he used a small lineup. It was Brunson, Dante, Deuce, Hart, and Precious at the five. And then they basically just extended the lead back. And yeah, I heard Mike Breen mention it, and then I just thought about it, and I'm like, interesting. Small lineup. Deuce is in the lineup. That's one thing that I've really looked at. Precious is the five. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be as successful as we want for like a lot of the games because I just feel like it just depends on matchups. It definitely worked with the 76ers because Embiid is out. He's not gonna be coming back. I mean, Paul Reed didn't really play as much as I expected him to. But yeah, I mean, if you want to just like give me your thoughts about seeing that small lineup and how they extended the lead back up, and maybe if this is something that you want to see more consistently, as Randall, as Mitch, as OG is out for the next few games.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, it shows, and we've seen this before in his entire tenure with the Knicks. Tibbs has grown since he was the coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That's a
The
fact.
man has grown.
That's a fact.
Like, let's, and I don't give Tibbs a ton of credit, and I'm
Me
aware
neither.
of that. Yeah, we both are highly, highly critical of Tibbs. And I mean, look, to his credit, he's grown. He's
Yeah.
doing things in a less traditional way, the way that basketball is moving towards this positionless game. And Tibbs was not about that when he coached Minnesota. That was one of the reasons why that team didn't really work because maybe they needed Towns to be a power forward and to get an elite center like Rudy Gobert who can cover for him defensively. And now the Timberwolves are one of the best teams in basketball. They have one of the highest chances to win the NBA Finals, according to most sports books. Like, clearly Tibbs has grown as a coach. I love seeing that. And also just shout out to Josh Hart. I'm looking at the stats right now. He put up a double-double and also played 44 minutes. So he went crazy.
Facts. And shout out to Deuce for making the most of his minutes. Still not 100% confident him in the playoffs, but we got Alec Burks and Bogey,
He looks comfortable.
so we're fine. He does look more comfortable though.
Yeah.
You know.
Like as you mentioned, like that lineup, that small ball lineup, they cooked, and I would love to see more of that in the future when it works. Like if you're playing against a team without a traditional big man or a team that's missing their big man like Philly, I'd love to see it a little bit more. See what the Knicks can do with a lineup like that where you can go fully five out. I like the idea. I think the Knicks could make it really work because they shoot so well as a team. I'd like to see it, and Deuce looked really comfortable at the end of that game. When he was in the game, he looked really comfortable.
I mean, maybe like one of the last remarks that I'll make is we needed this game, man, because we don't know. We heard it. We heard from Randall talking to the media. We also heard from OG Anunoby talking to the media. It's still kind of up in the air as far as like when they're gonna come back. That's why I'm saying we definitely needed this win because we could have lost it. That would have been a horrible loss. We absolutely should still beat Philadelphia, even with Julius Randle and OG Anunoby out. I think Jalen Brunson being the best player on the floor, that should have been equated to a W, which it was, thankfully. But I did a video earlier today, and I talked about the next 5 games that the Knicks have in the schedule. I remember that I remember that the New Orleans Pelicans is one of them. The Golden State Warriors is one of them. This game, and then 2 of the games I forgot. But we need to stack up as many wins as possible for the next 5 games, and we're off to a good start. So thankfully, we don't have to do a video about the Knicks blowing a 20-point lead.
It looked like that we were about to for a second.
Facts. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Let us know what you thought in the comments about the Knicks' effort tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. But until next time, you guys know the vibes. You guys know the drill. Taj Gibson for president. Jalen Brunson. Unfortunately, he didn't get All-Star MVP, but he can still get Finals MVP.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
And we out. Go Knicks. Peace.